Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another episode of Mind Your Pucking Business with your host, Jeffrey Krentzman. Coming in way too hot and early.
Yes.
But I'll pace that out, Jeff. Sorry.
There you go. Well, thank you for that, Connor. We have a special co-host today. If you're following us on the video feed, you see Connor, who now is playing the music. He's so excited he wanted to do it twice.
I swear, it never happens.
that is Connor. We thank you for that. Coming to you as always from the beautiful studios of Undefeated Media here in a blazing hot, scorching Bergen County, New Jersey. This is the Mind Your Pucking Business podcast, brought to you, of course, by our good friends, the Bamboozle Project, as well as Allied Construction and Roofing. This is episode number 81 on the Spanish dial on the SAP feature of your listening device. That is 81. So we welcome our Spanish listening audience to the show today. You can send your questions at any time on the show to mypbshow@gmail.com, or the more popular, trendy way to get to us definitely is always DMing us on our Instagram page at Mind Your Pucking Business. So you have multiple ways to get to us if you want. The options are there for you, and we do read them all. You can follow along the show on the video feed, and you can see our new co-host today, and that is on Connor, and that would be on YouTube if you're following us there, or Facebook, or you could also listen to the show at a later point at any time, downloadable on iTunes and Spotify. We are happy to be back. We've had, I would say, Connor, as long of a hiatus for the Mind Your Pucking Business program as we've had really since we started, and it's been a little over a month since we've been here. So we're gonna go ahead.
Bro, I've missed you, and you could tell people have missed you too. Chris says it's about time.
Yes, okay. Yes, Chris has been waiting for this. Chris will like what's coming up in the show. But we're happy to be back. I would like to say a couple things. I was away for a week. Dougie Stix, who is injured, he'll be joining us a little bit later. So that kind of factored in. You also have summer hours and stuff like that. Here's the plan going forward. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll be on I'm traveling again next week for my real job.
Oh, where are you going?
New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
Good city.
Great city.
I will also tell you this about New Orleans. If I had one, and I say this all the time, I'm not just saying this because I'm going there this over the weekend. If I had one meal, if I knew tomorrow was my last day, on this planet, and let's hope it's not.
Let's hope not. But what is your last meal?
My last meal is at a restaurant in New Orleans. Mr. B's Bistro in the French Quarter is phenomenal, and they have a signature dish. It is barbecued shrimp. It is not what you would think barbecue shrimp when you think of it. It's like a New Orleans take on it.
How do they do it? Yeah.
It is the best dish in America. That is where I will be. If you want to see me in New Orleans, that's where I will be.
So that's where you'll find Jeff having this barbecue shrimp.
Yes. So I will be there. So next week, I'm not sure we'll be on. We probably will be on, I would say, the first week of August. And then because we are about to approach NFL season, which we do a lot here, and we would at that point be getting a little bit closer to hockey season, I think you would see us starting our third year, believe it or not, because our 2-year anniversary would be in August.
Yeah.
I would think by then we would be starting our third season by doing back to weekly shows, probably on Tuesday.
Yeah. You know, summers, you understand. And honestly, you're going to New Orleans for great food. There's a hiccup. I think people understand that Jeff needs some.
I do.
And care.
If we are ever going to launch in the Undefeated Media Studios, the food review show that we've talked about.
We talked a lot about this.
And we ran some polls that people voted on the Instagram page, and 81% when we ran the poll back in May wanted us to do food reviews. So I'd like to say it's coming. I'll take the blame because we've talked about it. It's been a lot of talk with no action.
The people have spoken, but it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. We also talked a little bit off air today.
Yes.
About maybe some ways to spice up food reviews.
Oh yeah, some great ideas. We'll keep you hanging on.
Season 3.
Believe you me, it's a great idea, and it's gonna be a great show.
Season 3 when they show up. Yes. All right. So before we get into anything hockey, I want to say, and we put this up on the Instagram page a couple weeks ago, as actually the week I was out of the country, but I did see it up there. Bamboozle Project, who is a sponsor of the show, we love them. I've seen people wearing the gear, all that stuff. They have all new summer MYPB gear, whether you want to wear a tank top, a bathing suit, flip-flops,
amazing
water bottles.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really
checked out.
Yeah.
Wearing all Bamboozle MYPB merch.
Now, if you want, and I'm not saying I recommend it, you could go to the beach, right? As a couple, as a family, whatever.
Mhm.
And you could have everyone there, the boys in MYPB swim trunks.
Yeah.
You could have the girls in MYPB tank tops. You could all be wearing the MYPB sandals. You could be rocking the MYPB water bottles to stay hydrated on the beach. So check out, as you see it on the screen, the bamboozleproject.com. They are just a great company. Check out your MYPB gear, because believe it or not, even though it's hard to imagine on days like today when we're in the middle of a massive heat wave,
Right.
that winter hat that everyone likes will be back in style and be needed sooner than later. So get your summer stuff now while you can. And remember, promo code MYPB. Look at that, right on cue. MYPB, 25% off. Gets you basically free shipping.
I mean, decked out in merch from this show. What could be, and the winter hat too. I know it's hot. You can't imagine when it's hot out how cold it could be. But
Yes.
those hats are coming back.
Yes, they'll be back. You know what? We have the 4 seasons here in the Northeast, right? You can get scalding hot, but there'll be a polar vortex here in about 16 weeks, and you'll be wishing for it today.
Exactly, man. I love the seasons. Go out west, and it's just one. People are stuck.
But the one season that they have out west is just like always 70 and nice. So they have that.
Right, they do.
Which is nice.
So, a little jealous.
All right, getting into hockey. So we were last on, believe it or not, the Stanley Cup Finals had just started. The New York Rangers season had just ended. And the Stanley Cup Finals, we were on, I guess it was the morning after Game 1. And Colorado obviously went on to win the Stanley Cup, and they beat Tampa Bay in 6 games. And I want to say something before I even get there. I was in Tampa for work 2 days ago.
Oh.
And I made a joke with someone. Talk about like knowing your audience. I made a joke that you need to stop winning the Eastern Conference. I said this to someone. Let someone else. You won the Eastern Conference 3 years in a row. The joke didn't go over well.
That's know your audience, but that's a great joke.
Yes. Well,
you still got to throw that one in.
I'm glad you liked it. But anyway, I was down in Tampa on Tuesday, and that happened. So the Colorado Avalanche, look, to me, if you go back to beginning of May, the Stanley Cup playoffs are starting. There's 16 teams that are in it. The most popular pick that experts had to win the cup, and I think it's actually who I picked as well, was the Avalanche. Although, in hockey, you never know, right? The top seeds don't always win. It's not that sort of sport. But Colorado really in the playoffs really did demonstrate how good they were. They dispatched Nashville easily in round 1. They beat St. Louis in round 2. They then swept, at the time, a pretty good, hot Edmonton team. They swept them in 4 games. And in the Stanley Cup Finals, look, even though it did go 6 games, it was a pretty good series if you were a Colorado Avalanche fan, is they really just seemed to be in control the whole series. They probably could have also won that series in 5 at home, but that game didn't go well in the third period on a late goal that Tampa Bay went up. But so congratulations to Colorado. They will be back. Look, they're young. Obviously, if you didn't know the name Cale Makar, before the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you should have known the name, but if you were one of the few that didn't know who he was, you certainly know who he is now, and you see why Adam Fox gets put in the same conversation as Cale Makar, and you probably could argue that Makar is better if you wanted to, but we'll leave that argument for another day.
Yeah.
Nathan McKinnon, I mean, a lot of guys out there, they're going to be good for a while, and we're going to get to who their goalie is going forward in a minute. So they really were the best team throughout the season, I would even say, but definitely in the playoffs. So congratulations to them, as that wraps up the 2021-22 season for the NHL, with Colorado being the championship. Now, because coronavirus started this previous season a little bit late, there is shorter of an offseason. Now, the NHL has put out the schedule already for next season. The Rangers will start October 11th at home versus Tampa Bay. So the NHL is going on the notion that going forward, the season is back on its regular schedule. Start in the beginning of October. Forget coronavirus. We're back on. So because the previous season started a little late, we have a little bit of a shorter of an offseason, which to me I like, because you have less of a break.
Exactly. Yeah, you're coming back in. We're all reset up. We got through it. It's just start up again new. I'm excited for a shorter break.
Okay. So now, normally, historically in the NHL, free agency would be July 1st would usually be the time when free agency opens. That was the time in 2019, if you remember, when the Rangers signed Artemi Panarin. Or I could go back to 1990. Let me see if I get the year right. No, I want to say it was 2001. on July 2nd. I don't think it happened on the first day. Someone can back me up on this, but I'm pretty sure when the Rangers signed Bobby Holik in free agency, I think it was on July 2nd, July 2nd, 2001. So it always was, the free agency was always the beginning of July. Because of coronavirus, it moved to last Wednesday, July 13th. Now, look, if you were looking at this, let's go back in a time machine 2 weeks or a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
The Rangers were not going to go out and make a splash like Artemi Panarin or bring in some bona fide all-star or someone that's going to take up the back pages of the New York City tabloids. Mm-hmm. It wasn't what was going to happen. But the goal of a general manager, in this case, Chris Drury, is to always look at your roster as the previous season ends and say, what moves do I need to make the roster better for the coming season that are 2 months away?
Yeah.
Now, let's kind of go now back in the time machine to where we are today, and we're taping this episode on Friday, the 22nd. And I don't think we've ever taped an episode on a Friday. Not that I can remember.
No.
I don't ever think I've been in here on a Friday. So if you look at it, now, here are the additions, and we'll go through this, but the additions for the Rangers, obviously their biggest signing was Vincent Trocheck, who now you know who's going to replace Ryan Strome on the second line.
Yep.
Ryan Carpenter, Yaroslav Halak, and I'll even throw in Louis Domingue. Those are the additions coming in. The losses are Ryan Strome, Kopp, Rooney, McKeag, Vetrano, Nemeth, Gorgiev, and Kincaid. If I'm going to look at this on paper, and you're going to say to me, because it's really what the million-dollar question is in free agency is your team better at the end of free agency than it was before? I'm going to be honest, the answer is no. I mean, you've added Trocheck, which I think is probably an upgrade over Ryan Strome. He's also a lot better on faceoffs. And I want to say one other thing about Ryan Strome. In the beginning of the year, the beginning of the 2021 season, 21-22 season with Ryan Strome, I think at that point, most Ranger fans wanted the Rangers to re-sign Strome. Really, for the argument was that what was good, he plays well with Panarin and all that. But by the end of the season, particularly the end of the playoffs, I don't think I really met anyone that wanted the Rangers to re-sign Ryan Strome. No. I mean, I think it was so I'm not surprised that Ryan Strome is gone. So I'm not sure the team is better. But Ryan Strome leaving, you've replaced him with Trocheck. I will say this, for a second-line center, I would rather have Trocheck over Strome. But losing Kopp and Vetrano hurt. Now, look, you don't like, and you can get on them, that maybe they didn't produce in the playoffs like you wanted them to. Yeah. But Kopp and Vetrano are losses, and you're not going to get Ryan Carpenter. Ryan Carpenter isn't going to make up for them. So I do think Chris Drury had his hands tied. I don't really know how much he could have done. Now, Gorgiev, as we were talking about Colorado before, when Gorgiev was not going to come back. We knew he had to be re-signed. He was going to get more money to go elsewhere because he wasn't going to get starter money here.
Right, yeah.
But Chris Drury made a really good trade to get back for him. I thought 2 third-round picks and a fifth round pick. I thought was a pretty good return. Yeah. I was actually pretty happy for that. Now, look, you're going to have, obviously, whoever you brought in this case, it's Halak is the answer of who is slotted to be the backup to Igor. Look, Halak is not Gorgiev. We knew that, but we knew Gorgiev wasn't coming back here. So I'm not sure that the team is better. Now, what Chris Drury has left to do with a little over $4 million left, I believe, on the cap room he has left is he still has to re-sign Capo Caco, which he will. But then the other question remains, what do you do with Tyler Mott? Do you bring him back? And is there room to bring Tyler back?
Right.
So,
we got a comment here. I'll show Jeff.
Go ahead.
Wonder who told Jeff they would sign if they signed anyone.
Chris. So Chris, who is writing in, knows more about this than anyone. We've tried. We should get Chris on the show one day. He would be very, very good at this discussion. He is the expert at this stuff. But if I am Chris Drury, I am probably looking to re-sign Tyler Mott. I thought he was excellent on the penalty kill, and if nothing else, the Rangers could always, from a penalty killing perspective, I think you can get him cheap. So I'm not. Go ahead.
Sorry, no, the penalty kill was a killer. Penalty
kill was a killer. Yes. So here's really the question. So we know now what the Rangers do in the offseason, right? And again, I'm not sitting here saying that the Rangers are better than they were. But the Rangers are going to go as far as Igor Shesterkin takes them, and guys like Zibanejad and Panarin. I mean, let's be real. Mm-hmm. It's not really going to come down to what Vetrano. Vetrano wasn't a Stanley Cup determining factor. So, but here's the question: where is everyone going to play? So you figure now. Here's what you know: the first line is definitely Zibanejad and Kreider, but we don't know who's playing on the right. The second line is definitely Trocheck and Panarin. We don't know who's playing on the right, and then questions remain. Where Kravtsov is back. That's another thing we should talk about because that's a new development since we've been on last. You have Kravtsov, you have Kakko, and you also have Lafreniere. At what point does Lafreniere come off of the third line and get a chance to shine? If you were the next bona fide coming of Moses, right, which is what he was billed at when he came here in 2020 with the draft lotto that August Monday afternoon when Gary Bettman selected the lottery ball with the New York Rangers logo on it. If you're Lafreniere, at what point are you given the opportunity to play on a higher line?
Yeah.
The issue is he's going to have to play on the right, right? Because if you look at the first line and you have Kreider on the left and Zibanejad in the center, the only place for him to go is the right. And if you look at the second line with Trocheck in the center and Panarin on the left, the only way for him to go there is the right. So maybe there's a way for him to play right wing rather. You're not going to probably move Kreider off the left wing on the top line after the year he just had with having a career year. You wouldn't do that. You're not really going to move Panarin to the right. So I'm not sure really where Lafreniere goes. Vetrano, who played on the right side with Zibanejad and Kreider, is gone. So someone's got to refill that spot. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Also remember Sammy Blais hopefully is back from his ACL injury, which is a theme on the show, ACL injury, when we bring Dougie Stix on in a little bit. So so we'll see what happens. A couple questions as well that will follow here. Is Brendan Othmann ready? The Rangers PR team and their social media team has done a remarkable job in the last year hyping up this Brendan Othmann kids by putting on their Instagram page and the Facebook page Brendan Othmann highlights left and right with what they're doing and the frequency that they've been doing this. You almost wonder, is Othmann ready to play? So there's going to be some lineup choices for the team to make. It will be interesting to see in the sense that the Rangers will have the personnel to do. Why don't you pull that?
Yeah, we got Chris coming in again.
And let's see what Chris says. Kreider scroll set isn't tied to his side the way Laugh says. Move Kreider to the right. I would be fine with that, Chris. I would be more than happy. I don't know that they will do it because he just had the career year on the left. But to me, put him on the right and move Lafreniere up and see what happens. I would love that. That's actually what I would like to see them do.
Yeah, see what happens.
And then on the second line with Panarin and Trocheck, you'd really have the option on the right side of that line, either Kakko or Kravtsov. And and then whatever didn't happen there, you could put on the third line with Goodrow. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
And I think you obviously you have Lindgren coming back and Fox and Trouba. You're pretty well set up on the defensive end of things. And obviously goaltending, you have Shesterkin. I'd roll the dice. Let's go. See what you got to do.
Yeah, roll it.
Roll it.
I'm all there. Roll it.
Can I talk about rolling dice?
Yes. Oh, how?
Well, I should throw this in. I was in the book because we are a sports show.
Yes.
Overall. I was in the Bahamas. True story. I have the picture to back it up, and I don't want to put the picture on there because I don't want to be that guy. Because someone told me, and they're right, that a picture like this could go viral, and I don't want to do that.
All right. Well,
I was out of the country on vacation with my family.
Bahamas is
out of the country.
And it's out of the country.
I need a
Who
passport.
owns Bahamas?
No, not the.
I thought it was split, right?
That's Aruba. No, I don't know. Anyway, I'm out of the country 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking with my family to the breakfast buffet on a Friday morning, and conveniently and intentionally to get from the elevators that you are coming down on and to the restaurant, what do you have to walk through?
A ton of gambling,
Exactly.
a ton of slot machines.
Yes.
Well,
Not a surprise.
Exit through the gift shop. They just corral you through.
Yes. So I am walking through the casino with my wife and 2 kids.
Yeah.
And I see a craps table that is packed.
Yeah.
It is a Friday morning at 8:15. So it just seems odd to me.
Yeah. Was this going all night? It's 8:15, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I decide, hey guys, give me a second. I want to go see, maybe they got a roller that's red hot. I can get on the table, whatever.
Yeah.
I notice who's playing craps and why it's so crowded.
Who is it?
Dak Prescott, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
Whoa.
Who is gambling with, and again, I have a picture of it. We're not going to put it up, with the most insane amount of $500 chips you've ever seen out at one time. That when the shooter, which was not Dak, it was someone else at the table who he didn't know. So now this guy is assuming responsibility, which I could never do. I hate gambling.
Right.
I hate being the roller when someone else has $10 on the table.
Yeah.
This is Dak Prescott, and he's got $15K on every roll.
The guilt on that guy.
Oh my God. I didn't even stay to watch because I couldn't watch. So anyway, he had $10,000 to $15,000 on every roll. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's stack.
Speaking of rolling the dice.
Roll that dice.
Roll the dice. Yes. Yes.
Crazy.
But the Rangers rolling the dice, back to what we're talking about, with some line changes, it will be interesting to see as they open up the preseason. So the Rangers start their preseason on Monday. I want to say it is the 26th of September, home against the Islanders. It'll be interesting to see when they come out of training camp, which is really just 2 short months away, with what they're going to do on the right wing, on the wings, on the first 2 lines. Who's going to be the third person that plays with Zibanejad and Kreider, and also who's going to be the third person that plays with Trocheck and Panarin. Let's see. I see there's one more comment from Chris in the question. Let me see what it says. The question isn't, are they better than the post-deadline team? It's, are they better this September than last year? And I say yes. That I would 100% agree with on Chris. Yes, he's right. I think you're right. I feel more comfortable going into this season.
Yeah.
Or a little bit more of a confidence than I do last season. Now, last year, we had Dan Rosen on, to Chris's point. And we said in this Ranger preview show that we did, and we'll get Dan back for this year, I'm sure. And we said, look, what is the goal for this team? And there were clips on Instagram and all that stuff of Dan and I saying, look, they need to make the playoffs. Well, not only did they make the playoffs, they were 2 wins away from going to the Stanley Cup. So they're obviously in a better place than they were last year, and the expectation is higher, and it should be higher.
Yeah.
Right? You also now know, look, you thought last year going into the season Igor Shesterkin was a good goalie. After the year he had, you know that.
You know he is now.
Vezina winning Igor Shesterkin.
Yeah.
So you know how good he can be. And look, Kreider had a year that no one expected. And Zibanejad also had a really good year. Look, you'd like to see Kakko do a little bit more. But Kakko also was bit, by injuries a little bit last year. So maybe if he had some consistent play and can develop some chemistry, let's say on that second line with Panarin and Trocheck, maybe, he can be. But yeah, Chris is right. I think they're better going into the 2022 season than they were better than the 2021 season.
Absolutely, man. You could see that momentum at the end of the year. And Shesterkin, just how much confidence we have now.
Now, one thing that Ranger fans are going to have to get used to, and this is unfortunately the way it works, you're not going to be as confident in your backup because Igor Shesterkin is not going to play 82 games.
Right.
And you see what a deep playoff run.
Yeah.
You need your goalies to be rested. Right. So you're going to have a backup goalie play 15 or 20 games probably. And you know what? Yaroslav Halak, and he's been around on a million different teams in this league. He's okay to be a backup. He's not good to be a starter, but he's not Gorgiev. And you're going to see that in some of these games in this upcoming season, when, Shesterkin gets the night off on a back-to-back start, or back-to-back scheduling, you're not going to be as confident. And you may need the offense on those nights that Halak is in to score some more goals because there's more goals going to be going in your net on that night.
Right. That strategy is going to be different when you have some of that backup.
Yes, correct. And that is going to be something. I would have liked, I don't know why, and I don't really have a reason for this. I wouldn't have minded, actually, if Keith Kincaid was the backup. But, Halak, I guess, is an upgrade. But if we're talking about a year from now, when you look back at this season and you're analyzing who the backup goalie was, it's not a good sign. Right, because it shouldn't matter. It should be Shesterkin plays his 60, 65 games, gets you a certain amount of points to get you in the playoffs. Even with your backup goalie, if you could go even 500, I think you'd be okay.
Yeah,
and you'd sign for that. So it should, and then Shesterkin should play every game in the playoffs. So we'll see. But I agree with Chris on that, and it'll be something we follow. And as I said, Ranger training camp will open up the second to third week of September, which is really only 6 to 7 weeks away. Now, a little programming note here. We will be back with weekly picks in the NFL season, which is rapidly approaching. Training camps open across the NFL. And Dak Prescott will be included in one. He will be off the craps table that he was on. With
right. He's a little poor. No.
I
bet he didn't blink. If he lost that, I don't know.
Yeah, I
hope he won.
I didn't stay to watch. I just, look, someone reminded me when I was texting them that, he's making $45 million this year. So if he gambles away, $15,000 because some guy he doesn't know at the end of the table rolls a 7 and craps out.
Right.
Probably doesn't care.
No.
But just like it was painful to watch.
Right. And it's almost like, you know what? I allotted $1 million to gamble with.
Now, what would happen?
Where to go?
Here's what I thought of in my brain.
Yeah.
Again, I would never roll. Oh, and by the way, one other caveat I forgot to mention is the minimum at the table that he was playing at.
What was the minimum?
Was 100.
Oh.
Normally I saw it at $15 or $25, but where he was 100, right? So I'm not.
Yeah.
And when you play craps, I don't know if you know, you need to have more than the minimum because that's just to get in the pass line.
Exactly.
So if I was going to play the way I play, which is pass line, back up the pass line 6 and 8s, I'm looking at $400 a roll. I'm not doing that. They don't pay me enough at Undefeated Media here to do that.
So roll that.
So if you were doing that, right? And let's say I played, okay? Let's say for some reason I decided like an idiot to play, and I was rolling, and Dak Prescott was at the other end of the table, and he had his 15K. And let's say for some reason, for the first time in my life, because this has never happened when I roll, I'm terrible. But I went on a roll. Like I just I was on fire.
Yeah,
like
you were on a roll.
Hitting points, right? And I didn't even mean to play on words there.
But but on a roll.
Yeah, I was on a roll. Like I was hitting. The point was a 10. I'm hitting hard 10. The point was a 6. I'm hitting the 6.
What a rush!
Right. And Dak Prescott is winning now. Like let's say $750,000 or $1 million off my roll. Do we become boys? Do we become friends in that situation?
I would.
Does he then bring me to like Morocco?
I would see him flying you out everywhere. This is my guy. This is Jeff. Bring him into the back of the restaurant. Set him up a table in the front, just like Goodfellas. He's my guy.
Yes. Back to the food reviews. That discussion we had. Yeah. But it would. I don't know. Like I that was the other thing I was thinking the rest of that day when we were sitting outside. Was like, had I done it, and for some reason I found like some lightning.
Yeah.
And I was that guy. And Dak would then be like, yo, that's the guy that just won me $1 million because he was hitting all the points. And then, I don't know.
Well, you know how you tip the dealer, like blackjack?
Yes.
That's the guy, man. I'd keep him around.
Right. Does he then sit there and just throw me $50,000 in chips?
He would. That's a great vision, man.
We'll never know.
Get that. You know what? Now you thought about it, you're going to see Tom Brady at your next vacation, and you're going to roll it. You're going to roll it with Tom.
I am not a Tom Brady fan, as we know. I'm not.
I couldn't think fast enough. I would say Eli Manning. My bad.
Hey, Eli.
I wouldn't go near Tom Brady.
For some reason, I don't see Eli Manning as a gambler. Like it just doesn't. He doesn't come across to me as a guy that if I saw him in like Borgata one night, he would be like gambling. You want to speaking of Borgata and football, the craziest thing I've ever seen in craps in my life. I mean. I don't want to say like I'm an addict because I mean with Corona this was the first time I've been to a casino in 3 years.
Right.
We used to go. My my high school friends and I, we would go after we graduated college and we would watch the Super Bowl every year in Atlantic City. We'd go to Hooters in the Trump Taj Mahal, which is now not there anymore.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, we would stay in the Taj Mahal and the Hooters was in I think the Trump Marina or whatever. Okay. And we would go. You know, you'd hang out, you'd get pictures of beer. It was great when you're in your 20s to watch the Super Bowl, right? Like, you know,
that's the place to be.
Yeah, $50 and pictures of beer and wings or whatever.
Yeah.
So one year, I believe it was the year that the Eagles were in the Super Bowl because it was nuts down there because it was right outside of Philly. The Patriots played the Eagles, and we went to the Borgata after the game to gamble. So this was like 11:30 on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
This guy at the craps table we were at did not crap out for a good hour and 15 minutes. I mean, we made a fortune.
Well,
I've never seen anyone roll like that to the point where halfway through, I mean, you couldn't get a spot at the table, obviously.
Right.
But there was swarms of people. I mean, it was awesome. That would be what needed to happen with Dak Prescott. And then Dak Prescott and you would be boys.
That's a great origin story.
That's
my guy.
That's my guy. That's my personal roller. I have a trainer. I have fitness. I have Mike McCarthy as my coach. I do all these things. But that guy, Jeff, I bring him around the world, and we play craps together, and he rolls for me.
I love it.
Instead, we'll stick to the food reviews. Can we bring in our missing element to the show today? Let's see if we can bring in
Yes, we can.
Dougie Stix.
Everybody, welcome back.
Hello there.
How are you, sir?
I'm surviving. How are you?
Now, why don't you tell everyone why you are – this is the first time – this is our 81st episode.
Yeah.
And this is the first time in all 81 episodes that you're not sitting to the right of me, and it is awkward. So what's
Yes.
going on with you, my man?
So, yeah, I'll tell you a little story. So, I'm not the type of person to get on a treadmill or running around a track. That's not me. I'm not that type of person. So, I wanted to work out. I am the type of person that could play basketball all day and not think twice. So, I decided to go to 24-hour fitness down the street and play basketball. And, you have the main court, right? And you also have the courts, you have baskets on the side. So we're playing, and these kids on the side, the ball kept going into our game. So I'm like, all right, guys, come on. We're in the middle of a game. Like, can you go shoot down there? And all right, so we settle that situation. 2 minutes later, we're playing pickup basketball. I'm probably playing against like a 17-year-old. And I decide I'm going to cross this 17-year-old up, and I'm going to take him to the rack. Well, I cross him up. I feel a shooting pain as if someone kicked me in the back of the leg, and I go down. Now I'm mad because I just yelled at these kids behind me to get out of the way. And so I go to yell at them thinking that a ball hit me or they fell on my leg or whatever. And I turn around and yell at these kids, and there's nobody there. So my Achilles snapped, and it felt like someone shot me in the back of the leg. I turned around. There was no one there. So, yeah, I tore my Achilles. So I'm an elite level with, like, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Doug Friedman. Elite athletes like us sometimes tear their Achilles.
So you were out playing basketball.
Yes.
And trying to show the 17-year-olds who you really were and why you were known as, the man growing up in this area for basketball, and tore the ACL. So what is the recovery now? Normally, when NFL players tear their ACL, it's a long
it's Achilles, Jeff. It's the Achilles tendon.
Okay. When is the expectation that you'll be back to yourself?
So I probably won't be playing basketball for a year.
Oh boy! Wow.
Yeah,
the Knicks are gonna have to find someone for an entire season to fill in.
Yeah. Well, I was planning to be on the wing for the Rangers, but because there's an open spot, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But anyway, so yeah, the tendon, this is in the ankle, so it's the Achilles tendon that runs up the back of your ankle, that bar that goes into your calf muscle. So I snapped that tendon completely. So I had to have surgery. They cut you open and they take your tendon that's snapped and they take the calf muscle and then they sew them back together. So that's where we're at right now. And I just went to the doctor yesterday, and I can now start to put a little bit of weight on it. Not a lot, but now it's a process of building that tolerance, and I can really feel the stretching. Like I can start to move it a little bit. I can really feel my calf. Like it's like super tight. Like no flexibility.
Well, you feel better, sir. And hopefully when we do episode 82 in the next week or two, you will be back here. Although Sea-Dog over here, is flawless in it. We all need it. Where we had B-Rock, we have all these names for people here. Sea-Dog over here is like flawless integration.
Bro, I'm trying. I'm sorry I made it awkward. No, you said it's awkward that Doug's not here.
No, I'm
weird. Trying. But my friends call me Konski in high school. I don't know. Sea-Dog's cool too.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. You like it. Well, you feel better, sir. We will see you back here hopefully sooner than later.
Absolutely. Miss you guys.
Miss you too. So that is
Miss you too, bro.
That is the recovering Dougie Stix. And he brings up a very good point that when you think of athletes with torn ACLs, I think of plenty of athletes, Saquon Barkley, for example.
Achilles. Achilles. The Achilles tendon.
The Achilles tendon.
The Achilles, is that
ACL? You keep saying ACL.
Okay.
What's the difference? Doug, tell us what's the difference.
The ACL is in your knee. The ACL, the MCL, those are all in your knee. Those are tendons in your kneecap. Mine is in I tore the ligament in the back of the ankle. You know that thing, that bar that's in the back of your ankle?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Well, Doug did his research of all this. He watched all the videos on how this all works, and
he's home. He's got time to Google.
I
what
even
he's
watched
got
an
going on.
open surgery. I watched
Okay.
a live surgery of them fixing an Achilles. It was not pleasant to watch. It doesn't look fun.
Yeah, that wouldn't be my cup of tea. But anyway, when you think, let's just say we won't even go ACL or Achilles tendon. We'll just say when you think of great athletes having injuries, we'll leave it very broad.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, whoever it may be, you, sir, are now in that echelon.
Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Doug Friedman.
Doug Friedman. There you go.
Miss you, bro. Doug will be in here next week. Next Mind Your Pucking Business.
We miss you, Bo. We'll see you back soon. Get well.
So, thank you, guys.
That is the great not ACL. I said it again. The great
Achilles.
injured Achilles, Dougie Stix. So, you enjoying being in the co-host chair?
I do like it, Jeff. It's a great show.
You're usually so like just so people know.
Yeah, what's my background, Jeff?
Well, no, let me say the dynamic here of where you normally would be, because to people that follow the show or they listen, they don't really know who you are.
No, behind the scenes, yeah.
Yeah. So normally here, some shows I feel like you sit in the executive producer chair to the left.
Some, yeah.
Right? Some you're there, but then there's like other shows you could be out in the hall. I mean, I don't know really. It's all over the place.
No, I'm all over, man. Producer chair back there, or we're busy working. We're very busy at Undefeated Media, doing all that content and producing shows like this.
Yeah. It's busy. You guys are busy here.
It's great. It's interesting. It's kind of weird being on the other side of the camera because I've watched Doug here, man, at the helm here for 80 episodes.
But now you can add to your extensive resume.
Right.
Co-host. Right?
Co-host.
I mean, now you can actually say something, there's like something different, which I think is cool.
No, I love adding that to the resume, and I will stay, Doug. He's still on.
He wants to do episode 82. He wants to be he's actually asked off camera that I could request that we do episode 82 tomorrow instead of like next week or the week after.
Yeah.
That way that Doug still can't get here.
Well, Jeff, I've missed you. We got to backlog some episodes. So come back in tomorrow, Saturday. We'll get going. Let's not even go outside. It's AC in here. It's nice.
The AC in here is really good. Well, the heat, though, if I remember here, was a little questionable in the winter months for a little while, if you remember, for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll fix that.
Yes. No, it got fixed. It did eventually get fixed. But what we could do is, we could get you to take a camera because you have, like I said, your skill set. You can be in front of the camera like today, but I've also seen you behind the camera.
Mm-hmm.
We could just go start shooting food reviews.
Yeah.
And go out and about.
And you know me, Jeff. You know that I love bagels.
Yes.
So we started that friendship, and you gave me some great recs and
the place that I told you about, and I'm not going to promote it here, but we can.
We know.
Well, we know where it is because it is I think the best bagel spot in all of New Jersey. That is not far from here and incredibly underrated. And if you want to know what it is, you can always DM us or send us an email and I'll tell you where it is.
Yeah.
But I had met a couple of weeks ago. I saw someone and they had moved to. I had a client actually for work. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the story. I had a client. They moved to that town. They were new to that town for work, and they had asked me like, where should we go for pizza and all this stuff, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And I said, here's where we go for pizza. And I said, but I got to tell you something. I said, you have a hidden gem in this town, a bagel store, and anyone who goes to it gets hooked on it. It's the best bagel you'll ever have, and you'll never go anywhere else.
Amazing.
Okay. So I said to him, whenever you go at some point, and he was walking distance to it. He said he could even like take the kid in the stroller.
That's rough. They're just like there every day.
I'd be there every day, right? And I said, text me when you go because I'm just curious if you liked it. About 2 weeks later, so this was last week.
Yeah,
I got a text from him. Actually, it was the day we got back from the Bahamas.
Yeah,
when we landed at the airport, that he went that morning and he was like, "It was unbelievable, bro. It was the greatest thing I've ever eaten." So
I'd made the best move of my life down the street from this
my
place.
real estate value.
Yeah,
gone up. Zillow doesn't factor that in.
No, Zillow has to have that radius of great places to eat.
Yes, they do. So we appreciate you listening as always today. We're glad to be back here. We thank Connor for stepping into the co-host chair for the previously mentioned Dougie Friedman with his injury.
Yep,
yes.
Great being here. Doug will be back soon.
He will be back soon. We, as always, check out the Bamboozle Project. I encourage you to check it out now, especially because it is the time of summer gear up there and plenty to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
And again, use promo code MYPB for 25% off. So we thank the Bamboozle Project. We thank Allied Roofing as well for their sponsorship. We encourage you to check them out as well. And you can send us your questions at any time, mypbshow@gmail.com. DM us on the Instagram page. We're always looking there. The summer months here are a little bit different when we don't have football and hockey, but the good news is that it is coming back sooner than later. I do think we will be on either next week or probably the week after would be my guess, probably the beginning of August. And then we will kick off season 3 of the Mind Your Puckin' Business podcast. So let's say second half of August, they'll kick off, because by then we'll get right into weekly football. We get hockey coming back. It becomes a very busy time of year. It goes from not overly busy for the topics that we normally will cover to being very, very busy very fast.
Right. It picks up. So that kickoff in mid-August is going to be, that's a start.
You'll have to buckle your seatbelt, Connor, or whatever chair you're in, whether it's the co-host chair over there, whether it's your executive producer. And the executive producer chair, we don't have it on camera here, is easily the best chair in the studio. I don't know what's up with that.
I don't know why I don't work in that chair all day. That's a lounge chair.
Can we move that chair to being on camera?
Yeah, I mean, that could be just picture in your head, lazy boy on wheels.
Yeah, I mean, it is easily the best camera chair. Anyway, we'll work on that. We thank you for tuning in. Ranger off-season special today. We will be back soon. We thank Connor for filling in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're anywhere on the East Coast, stay cool because it is roasting hot.
Yes, stay cool.
Be well, and thank you all for tuning in. Talk to you soon.